So the different takeaways that I took from the reading today was that during when I was reading the Slavish 569 to 608 pages, I learned about different learning styles. I learned about active learning, student-centered, collaborative, and problem-based learning. I really like active learning, which allows students to read, write, discuss, and engage in problems. It really helps them grow as their individual selves, and it helps them work with others to see what they got as similar and how someone else got something and came to a different conclusion. I think that it's great because it engages their higher order cognitive thinking. The next one I learned was student-centered learning, which instructors should shape coursework on students' needs, interests, abilities, and learning styles. I think that active learning and student-centered learning can go together great. I think that teachers should be engaging students in their classroom, but also driving the curriculum delivery off of those needs, learning styles, and interests of students. I think that you have to build a connection relationship with your student to really know their interests, needs, learning styles to help you deliver the instruction so your students are engaged in the class and not bored. The next learning style I learned about is collaborative learning. I saw that the collaborative learning and the active learning had a good tie because they work with pairs and groups and not just working by yourself. So the dynamic groups and pairs help you be motivated and push each other to see how you got something or to show others a different point of view. The next one was experimental learning. A takeaway that I got from experimental learning is it does not just happen in the classroom, which I really like, that it can go outside of the classroom. Students can see those real world connections. They can see how what they're learning in the classroom, because I feel like a lot of students ask the question, why am I learning this? They see why they're learning it in school to take it to their life outside of school. The next one was problem-based learning, which I learned was the most common type of learning, which is providing students with opportunities to identify and tackle complex problems in both small group and on their own. Teachers are guides or facilitators who guide learning by modeling and scaffolding and by maximizing students' responsibility for learning. I think that it's good when students, when you first start at that, you're teaching the student, and then the student can go and teach you, and you're there for a guide as they self monitor themselves and self question. The next takeaway that I got from the readings were the basic principles of transformational teaching, which are facilitate students' acquisition and mastery of key course concepts. I learned that you have to challenge the students' ideas and views, that you have to increase students shaping their own instruction in curriculum and learning experience. I think that you really have to learn what the students need and how they learn in the classroom to shape what the instruction is going to be. You have to see what students need. You have to see how they like to be taught. You have to see what interests them. The next step is enhance student strategies and skills for learning and discovery. I starred this in the book because it says that it's necessary for transformational teaching. Students will learn by doing with others and having the classroom as a learning lab. I really like that it states that a classroom is a learning lab. I think that all classrooms need to serve as the learning lab because you want that student to have the opportunity to learn every single time they come into your classroom. You want to have that fun aspect, but you also want them to come out of the classroom every single day stating that they learned something new. The next thing was promote positive learning related attitudes, values, and beliefs. A thing that I got this from this was that students need that social interaction. They need to be challenged by their peers. I think that it's great to have a healthy competition, not negative by saying, oh, well, Sally did better than you, Tom. So why do you have to do this? Or some students can get down on themselves. But I think that students have to see the different viewpoints and be challenged in a healthy way for see growth and see them push and persevere. The next thing that I got was methods of transformational teaching. The six methods of transformational teaching are establishing a shared vision for a course, providing modeling and mastery experiences, intellectually challenge and encouraging students, personalizing attention and feedback, creating experiential lessons that transcend boundaries of classroom, and promoting opportunities for preflection and reflection. I think this is a great reflection of field studies and that you have to kind of look back at yourself during the lesson, which is step 6, and you start as a shared vision for the course with your supervisor, and you go through each with the lesson and then reflect on the lesson with your supervisor and cooperating teacher. The last thing that I got from the reading is that in the book of Deconstructing Race, it states that race is a social constructed idea that humans can be divided into distinct groups based on inborn traits that differentiate them from members of other groups. Then later in the book, it says we're all born into a social position and with physical features that contribute to our sense of who we are. But social positioning and physical features are not or should not be determinative of identity. I think this is a great quote to take in that students, when you see them physically, you kind of say, oh, well, this race doesn't do as well as this race in English, or this race doesn't do as much as this race in science. I don't think that you need to see a student physically, but you have to learn from them, kind of make those relationships to truly know who they are mentally and physically, and to see where they are academically. I think that when people see someone, even nowadays, like you see someone and you kind of have this pre thought of them based on what they look like. Me, as a white and black person, you can't truly judge who I am because I am a mixture. I don't think that just because you're a certain race, that's what you typically draw toward mentally, physically, academically.